This is about 3/4 throttle.
Uh-huh.
So back down to about 60%.
Alright.
It needs speed on it because it's so heavy.
Yeah.
But I have it pretty trimmed out. Level it down. Just now really point that nose up.
Okay, that thing flies pretty amazing.
It's not bad. It's not a bad build.
Yeah.
I mean, all the parts are really big. It's like 4 sheets of foam board, and she really flips around.
It's pretty rock solid.
Yeah. I mean, it's gusting a little bit. She flies great. Nice and clean. Bring it down the line for high speed. See how she works. Full throttle. That's pretty good.
Good.
I haven't done inverted flight with it yet. Get a few mistakes up before I attempt that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. You got a pretty good design.
I really didn't do any other modifications to the build other than put a battery strap in it. Just to really hold that battery in place. For a flat wing plane.
Yeah, it flies amazing.
Yeah, it flies great. Bring it around for a slow pass.
I think it flies almost better than some of the, some of the hobby ones that I've seen fly.
The production builds.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing, Flight Test really knows how to build a plane, and David Winsall, I guess his name is, he really took a lot of time and effort designing this. And believe it or not, he made it very versatile. You could put a prop on the back of this thing and make it into a pusher. So if you don't have like the parts laying around for this thing, you don't want to invest in it. A few sheets of foam board and whatever you have laying around and props, and you can build one. But I mean, I think EDF is the way to go. It's so cool. Alright, I'm gonna come around for a landing. It's gonna be a little bit of a crosswind. And it is. The FT Viggen. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Done?
I'm really excited today. You have no idea. Today we have the FT Viggen. Now this is one of the best planes I have built to date. I mean, I've built a lot of flight test products, and they are all just solid. From the VersaWing to the Cruiser to the Spitfire, the Baby Blender. I mean, they're just really, really good. I mean, even the mini series that they have for winter flights, they're awesome. But this is something on a whole new level. Let's talk about it really quickly, okay? This is a beautiful scale size plane. It's got a nice big hatch that opens up and slots right in, no problem there. It's got a nose that breaks away, and it's got an EDF motor. This is the first EDF motor that was basically shown to you and presented by Flight Test. And for those of you scratch build out there, I mean, props are really the way to go. I've gotten into the prop and slot jets from Mesa RC, and those are awesome. They're a lot of fun, but this is something completely new, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's really stable, very, very stable. So let's talk about the specs on this thing. I put a 46 millimeter EDF fan. The motor actually came from an A10 Warthog. It's the free wing plane from Motion RC. A friend of mine cracked it up, gave it to me, and I kind of just started scrapping it for parts, and the parts are solid. I took the 9-gram metal digital servos and put them in there, and this thing only takes 2 because it's using elevons. So there's no rudder control, there's no true elevator or elevator, it's using elevons, okay? They're slotted into the body, they're really low profile, and the control horns are basically just put in right there as close as you can to the hinge, and there you go. Elevons. I'm running a 4-cell package, a nice big one. Now you'd be surprised at how big this thing can hold, but I actually fly this balanced with a 3600 milliamp hour. And it's beautiful. It's heavy, yes, but when it's in the air, it's light and it's docile, and it handles wind. It does not care about gusts. It doesn't care about constant wind from 10 to 15 mile an hour. It'll push it right through. Now, obviously, the 70 millimeter jet would be a better choice, but again, using parts of what I had, I kind of threw it in, and that's another great thing about this thing. It allows you to put so much of a variety of parts into it. Maybe you don't have an EDF, but you want to build it, but you have a lot of props running around with that you can put on your motors. You can do that with this. You can just put it in the back and make it a pusher, and it will look beautiful in the sky. People will wonder, is that really a jet or is that an EDF? When it's flying, you can't even see that thing pushing around, and it'll be just as docile at slow speed and quick and snappy on high speeds as you can believe. Like I said, I had what I used in there, so it was easy enough. One thing I do recommend, and this is coming from a person who drops his batteries like it's my job, is a battery strap. Now, the plans don't come with one, but it's easy enough. The only thing is you're going to have to punch a hole through the body and kind of wrap a nice fat Velcro strap through the body and kind of into the battery bag. I'll show you what I've done here. So here is the battery strap right in there, and basically I've lined it up right at the midpoint of where my battery would sit, and then I painted over the strap on the belly so it's pretty low profile and you can't even see it, and it actually acts like a nice little skid plate, believe it or not, for the ground. This thing is a belly lander, so if you go out there and try to put more gear on it, it's just going to add weight and it's cumbersome. But if you have a grass field, just use it as a belly lander. Get away with it. I painted the belly black. I plan on putting black duct tape on the belly on top of the black paint. That's going to provide plenty of strength, and longevity. It is only a foam board, plane. And yes, after a season or so, it's probably going to be scrapped, but that's okay. As long as the electronics and everything remain intact, you're looking at a $5 replacement and maybe about 20 hours worth of your time to rebuild. Probably less if you get faster at it. This took me roughly around 10 to 15 hours to build from printouts on my computer. I do support Flight Test, but I did not buy their speed build kit. So I went ahead and did everything, pretty much. So it's not as perfect as a laser cutout printer, but for what it's worth, this thing turns heads at the field. I have guys, asking me what's in that thing. They pick it up, they look around it, they look at the fan, which is beautiful, placed nicely in there with its tubing. Everything is just beautiful. It's really nice. The nose is tacked on with some tape and also, small glue at the joints. Nothing that's too big, so if it does have a crack up, or a hard landing, I can get that nose off and get it replaced really easy, which was very, very simple to make. It's 2 pieces. It's one large piece that covers the siding and the top, and then the bottom piece that kind of just seams into the bottom, and then you just take a blade and cut off the excess. It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful design. Everything is boxed out, and it's just solid. It's very stiff. It's very rigid. Launching is a cinch. You grab it by this big handle here, and you toss it into the wind, and it just takes off. It gets as easy as that. There's little to no torque roll on the fan at full speed throttle. Just toss it into wind. She does high alphas. From the video, you can see it rolls. It does inverted. It does what it needs to, and it's pretty unbelievable considering it's flying on elevons. What I don't like about it, unfortunately, the materials made out of it's pretty cheap. hot glue in a hot summer's day, it's going to get soft. You have foam board, if you don't iron the edges or, seam them with hot glue, they're going to start delaminating over time. It's just, one of those things you can't, ask a lot of, unfortunately, even though you put a lot of demand on it, especially when you throw in heavy batteries and, 4-cell EDF units in there. It's going to blow itself apart over time, and that's just something you have to come to accept with these planes. But the fun in is that you get to rebuild them and perfect on what you've done, and just keep the designs going, and sharing with the community and everything, and it's a lot of fun. So I give this one a 2 thumbs up. This is a great little plane. And it's actually not even that little. Comparatively to all the other flight test planes or even any other scratch build planes, this has got a great scale, like I said before. It's like 3/4 the size of me. This thing is great, the size of this thing. It's awesome. I mean, who doesn't want a nice big plane? And it's light. It's crazy light. You just have to go easy on the glue, and obviously don't go heavy on the paint. I use a foam brush to paint it. I'm pretty old school and water-based paint. Don't get too crazy if things start warping because you painted one side. As soon as you paint the other side, it usually comes back down. And even not, it's not that bad if there is a little bit of warp. Again, it's foam board. Can't ask much of it. Really can't. Oh, one other thing I want to point out. This is a flat wing design. Now, I'm really big into airfoils. I feel if you're flying a plane, you should have an airfoil. Just recently I started exploring KFM airfoils, and it's not a true airfoil, or it doesn't look like a scale airfoil like a KFM, or excuse me, a arm and wing airfoil. However, this is a flat wing, and I was very skeptical at first about it. And yes, maybe there is room for improvement, but it flies great. You wouldn't even know it was a flat wing, and when it's in the sky, it looks so beautiful. It's gorgeous, as David puts it. It's just a gorgeous plane. The profile of it, the 3D look of it, it looks great. It looks really good. You let it get a little too far from you, and you start losing, perspective and obviously orientation. But that's pretty much true with any plane. If it gets too far from you, you just got to learn the way it looks in the sky and kind of fly it appropriately, and obviously learn your turns and take it slow. Once you have it dialed in and you throw it in, like say 100%. Unlike, the specs that FT had demanded, you'd start doing all sorts of crazy things with this. I mean, it'll spin on a dime. It just twists and turns, crazy fast roll rate. If you take the elevator and you put it all the way up, she'll jump up, she'll do crazy little rolls in the air. It's wild. Now remember, this isn't EDF, so you don't have that air rush over the body as if it was a tractor-style plane where you have the propeller, basically forcing air over the air surfaces. It does need air, and if it does get on its side for too long, it will drop a wing because you don't have that rudder control to force the tail in that direction to keep the nose up. The canards work great. They're angled just right, and if you go slow, it'll actually force itself into almost a high alpha just to keep that body at a controllable state. I mean, but it's beautiful. It's just great. When you put it on its back and you look at it, it's nothing but a giant wing. It really is. I mean, yeah, it's a jet from the siding, but I mean, the surface area of this wing, of this flat wing against the air, it's just, it's hard for it not to grab it and have, some kind of stability control over it. High speed, slow speed, whatever you like. Now, like I said, this is a 64mm, and I felt that, especially after flying the EFX Racer, which has a lot of kick to it, this was a little bit slow, but it's not. You throw a 70mm and you're obviously going to get a lot more punch for it, but you're also going to have a lot more battery drain, and you're going to start losing a lot more time in it. Right now I have my timer on my transmitter set at about 5.5 minutes for that 3600, and let me just tell you, it's almost, if I really, work it hard, I can kill it down to like 20% left of the battery. It's 80% used. So, if you throw something bigger in, you're just going to, shoot down your time in the air, and it's really going to guzzle. That's the one thing I don't really, favor with these EDFs, is they're just guzzlers. They are so inefficient. Although they're cool, and, you got to praise them for what they do, they are so inefficient. They really are hogs when it comes to the energy. But it is what it is. It's a small trade-off. So once again, I give 2 thumbs up. There are very few negatives on this plane that I can point out. It's solid. Build it the way it's asked to build. Throw in a battery strap and you will not be disappointed. This is the plane, for any kind of beginner or intermediate or anybody who really wants to get into these type of planes with the EDFs, but don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on the production models from, say, Motion RC or Hobby King, which is pretty inexpensive. This is really the way to go. Elevon makes things simple, and it's just, you can't ask for more. You really can't. So again, this is the FT Viggen. You can find it on Flight Test, FLITE, test.com. Look it up. Enjoy the rest of my videos, and have a good night.